Welcome to another video of some Star Wars Unlimited gameplay from here in Central Illinois at Red Raccoon Games. This was footage from our local premiere constructed on June 25th in preparation for the Bloomington Planetary Qualifier the following Saturday. On the right we have Matt rocking the Pilot Vader Yellow, the deck that we've seen rising through the meta the past couple months. And on the left we have Lucas bringing Anakin Yellow. This is definitely a different take on the Anakin decks that we usually see. Running the blue bases, either just a blue 30 or the Colossus base. So what is this Anakin Yellow trying to do? What's the game plan here? It's definitely going to be running similar to a Quillen Tarkentown build. We're going to expect to see some force units and some force throws out here, with the major difference building towards that huge Anakin flip to close out the game. So we're going to probably see Lucas come out a little bit aggressive here, though it's going to have an upward battle against this Vader deck that is just going to swarm the space. So we see the Millennium Falcons in hand. Those are going to be key to this matchup. Resourcing one, hoping one would do enough to steady the tide of ties. We see Grogu come down. That will be helpful to exhaust some units. But Matt does get the Mining Guild TIE Fighter into the Victor 2 wingman, creating a tie. Now this probably isn't the most ideal play for Vader here, as Lucas can exhaust the Mining Guild tie and prevent token generation this turn. So we do see Matt having the Clone Combat Squadron. That is a key part to this deck, so we're going to probably see that come down after 4 resources. Lucas deciding what to resource here. We see an Ezra in hand. Looks like that might be a Jam Communications. We're probably going to see Falcon come down. We also see a Bamboozle, also great for this matchup. So it looks like Lucas is having a good draw here. It looks like maybe spare the target there. So Lucas having options. We'll see what he goes with first. Alright, we see the exhaust play. This is critical because Vader's leader ability only activates when a non-token unit attacks. So even though the tie will get an attack in, it won't be able to generate the tokens. And we see Fireball come down with the ambush, immediately taking out the Sanctioner shuttle. Taking 2 damage back. Now Fireball's ability, it is a 3/3 with ambush. However, at the end of the phase, or during the regroup phase, it will take, I think it's at the end of the phase, it will take 1 damage, so this Fireball will be defeated. I'm wondering if the Millennium Falcon would have been a good play here. However, that would have made Lucas have to tap a resource to keep it flying. So maybe he's trying to set up a turn where he can get a force throw and a 3-drop in. I do see Ezra Bridger out there. We do have Grogu on the field, which would activate force throw, but don't see that card in hand. Might be a jam. We see a Spark, Ezra, Falcon, not sure the other card. So the Mining Guild TIE Fighter does swing in, putting Lucas at 1 damage. And here comes the Falcon coming down. The nice thing about this Anakin deck is that the Falcon can take out things like Victor Leader, the Stolen AT Hauler, as well as a not terribly too big Clone Combat Squadron, because it gets that +2 attack from Anakin's ability at the cost of putting 2 damage on the base. So here we see the Clone Combat Squadron, and that is a 6-6 right now. So the Falcon could take out the Mining Guild TIE Fighter, return to hand so it doesn't get killed by a TIE. And that's what we see here. I think that should be... Oh yeah, so taking 2 damage back. So it actually won't immediately die to a TIE Fighter. So we're going to see what Lucas resources here. We see an Ahsoka drawn. Could be great to attack the hand of Matt. I think Lucas was really hoping for a force throw here, but we see the resource tab to keep the Falcon flying. The Clone Combat Squadron is down to a 5-5. And swings. Now here's the critical position. Will Lucas take the Falcon, swing it into the Clone Combat Squadron, or really try something else? I'm thinking here with 4 resources, playing the Ahsoka Tano might be good just to attack the hand. Matt might be sitting with an overwhelming barrage, and basically if you discard a unit of Ahsoka, you can exhaust a unit. So it's one of those things that could force a bad trade. We see the Anakin ability coming in, buffing the Millennium Falcon to 5 power, able to take out the Clone Combat Squadron, dealing some damage on Lucas's base, no damage on Matt's base, and here we see the Victor Leader coming in. Great card, buffing up those ties so that they are 2/2s. The Ahsoka Tano coming down. We're going to see that last card in the hand. There's a No Good to Me Dead. Or, sorry, Matt still has another card in here. So we're wondering what he may have held on to. Can't quite see it, but the No Good to Me Dead, that would be a great card against the Anakin Leader when it deploys at 6. This might give Lucas an avenue to start putting damage. Thinking here, Lucas is all tapped out. He's probably going to be claiming the initiative. It looks like Matt claimed the initiative. So we're going into the flip turns for both leaders. Matt has his fleet of ties out there, looking to deal damage. We're going to see both leaders come out. Now Lucas, it does have that bamboozle, which will be very good for the Vader leader. And Matt deploys, creating 2 ties. And I think we're going to see the bamboozle come out. We first see the exhausting. Okay. Bamboozle might be being saved for another unit, just for an exhaust. You know, you've got your free exhaust while the unit's still on the board. So saving your card, saving some resources. Do you see Spare the Bounty in hand? That would be great to return a Clone Combat Squadron to hand. And we see Spark of Rebellion. This is great, but a tough choice for Lucas. Do you take the overwhelming barrage to avoid that piloted Victor Leader from clearing your board, or do you take out the No Good to Me Dead, which will definitely be used on Anakin Leader to keep him out of the game? This is a tough choice. The overwhelming barrage, yeah, because the overwhelming barrage on the piloted Victor Leader would spread 9 damage, would instantly take out Anakin or the other units on, or deal some damage to other units and take one out. We see Lucas tapping 4 here. And we see K2SO coming down on the field. You see the tie coming for 2. Looks like Lucas is at... Can't quite see that. That could be around 14 damage. It's really hard to see here. We see 3 damage come in there. And Matt claims the initiative. We have Anakin coming in, swinging. Looks like that puts Matt up to 10, which would mean that there's at least 15 damage on Lucas's base. Because Anakin gets 1 extra power for every 5 damage on the base. So it's swinging for 7 would mean at least 15 damage. It's looking good, but we're not seeing Lucas draw those key cards to just start wiping out the board, like the force throws, which would be great right now. And the lack of space units is starting to let Matt run away with this. Matt taking the initiative at the last turn was great because he can dodge the bamboozle here, swinging in for a lot, putting Lucas in a bit of a bind. Now, if Matt gets greedy and claims here, Lucas can hit him with the bamboozle to take the Vader leader off, bring Victor leader down to a 2-4. We see Anakin swinging in. Another tie, swinging in. So Lucas in the 20s here. And the Hot Shot Blaster coming on K2 brings 6 damage across. Coming out from the resource roll, smuggling that in. So Matt, he rocks the D20 with a second dice. So we see Matt go up to, that might be 25 there? Now Lucas presenting 8 damage on the board. I believe that would be lethal, so Matt's just going to start swinging. And Grogu exhausting a tie. Now it looks like Matt does have a clone combat squadron possibly in there, which when played would present lethal that following turn. Yeah, it looks like Lucas, I think that's a 2 and a 6 there. So these 2 swings from the ties might do it here. So Lucas at 28. We see spare the target to essentially waylay that last tie. So I think Matt claims here, and Lucas scoops, knowing that it's got no answers, as just with 2 damage left to do, even if he bamboozles the Victor leader, at the end of this turn, it swings in for 2. So both players playing pretty well the first game. Of course, Lucas wishing that he had some of those force throws or some other cards. We see some possible additions to from the sideboard. I am seeing the big falcon that has ambush in Lucas's hand. Not sure if that came in from the sideboard or just didn't see it the first turn or first game, but that could prove helpful for this matchup. Matt probably just wants to keep up the swarm. Um, since it does start turning into a bit of a race towards the end, maybe holding on to some of those pump cards like a surprise strike or a breaking in could be good. So the one thing about the big Millennium Falcon from Shadows of the Galaxy is that it does have a 6 cost. So that could be too late, but if Lucas does a good job controlling the board and gets initiative going to the flip turn, we might see it ambush taking something out big like a Clone Combat Squadron. Um, and okay, we see a good starting hand from Lucas. We see that Grogu and a... looks like that might be Force Throw there. Really key to that matchup. We see the Big Falcon being resourced because it can be smuggled out. Just doesn't get the ambush. So we see Grogu come down. Turn 1. Oh, that doesn't look like a Force Throw. That might be Bombing Run. And Bazine Natal. Good call for Matt. That's coming in from the side. Worried about some of those events Lucas has. So we see Surprise Strike, Ahsoka Tano. I believe that last one was Bombing Run. We see the Ahsoka Tano being discarded. And drawing a card to replace off Bazine. Looks like that may have been For a Cause I Believe In. And we do see another Ahsoka Tano coming out here. So we don't see a three drop unit. That is okay. We might see the Surprise Strike in here just to take out the Bazine. I mean, the for a Cause does cost 3, but it doesn't really feel good right now. But it could offer Lucas some deck filtering if he's trying to search for the cards that he needs. Looks like that K2SO was resourced. So we're just going to kind of wait and see. Maybe keep Matt guessing. Grogu's going to exhaust Bazine Natal. Another interesting line is that we do have the Anakin ability that can deal 2 damage, or put 2 power on Grogu to have it deal 2 damage, but that wouldn't take out the Bazine. We see the Lurking TIE Interceptor come down. This might be really good to dodge any Force Throw and Bombing Run plays, as the TIE, the Lurking TIE, cannot be damaged or defeated by enemy card abilities. Now, it can be bounced back to the hand with a waylay or a spare to the target. But we see this kind of negate the power of things like Bombing Run. This puts Lucas in not a good spot, as the only card that can be played right now is that For a Cause. And we're going to see that come out. See how much damage that does. So we see Han Solo Pilot, Hot Shot, Ezra, and Millennium Falcon dealing 3 damage to Matt's base. We're going to see what Lucas keeps. Had some good options there. That Falcon will probably come in handy. So he's discarding the Han Solo Pilot. And he's keeping the rest. So he's keeping Millennium. Looks like the order was Millennium Falcon, Ezra Bridger, Hot Shot Blaster. So he's wanting to keep that. The Ezra Bridger probably just to have another Force Throw unit, or but he instantly resources it. But Matt coming in dealing 4 damage from the Lurking TIE. So Matt with 3 damage on the base, Lucas with 4. We might see the Ahsoka come down to start dealing some damage to the base. Not a whole lot of options here. The Ezra would just... there's no Ezra. The Millennium Falcon could be good, taking out the Lurking TIE. We know Matt's going to generate a token off this turn. I think the Falcon, you just need to control space here. So we see that come down. That will take out the Lurking Tie and survive. Definitely something Lucas wants to see. Lucas knows that he has a better endgame with the Anakin leader coming out. So if you can keep the space arena clear, that will be good for him. And that Grogu, just having that perpetual exhaust, could slow down any leader shenanigans. But we see the Geonosis patrol fighter coming in off exploit. It costs 5, but it defeats Bazine Natal to be played for 3. Bouncing the Millennium Falcon back to hand, but we do see that it actually was a force throw, not the bombing run. Discarding a card from Matt's hand, but with all those 1-drops, that makes it very good for Matt. That's the trouble with these Vader decks with so many 1-drops. You don't always get the huge value out of force throw, so it could have been worth it to discard one of your own cards to for sure take something out. Because now Matt is presenting damage with 2 units. This can spiral out of control quickly. He did not take, or he took the initiative before making a tie, so he's just prioritizing getting that damage in from the Lurking Tie Phantom. So in hand we see Surprise Strike, Ahsoka Tano, Millennium Falcon, and For a Cause of Believin'. Over on Matt's side, not quite clear what he's having in hand. But it looks like there might be an overwhelming barrage. Matt thinking about tapping 5. So he taps 5 for the overwhelming barrage on the patrol fighter to deal 5, taking out Grogu, which was presenting to be a liability here. So Lucas having some options to try to slow this down. The Millennium Falcon can be played, but we'll see what Matt would want to take it out with. Lucas looking at tapping 4 here, possibly with the Ahsoka Tano to discard a card, discarding Surprise Strike. And so Lucas is going to come in for 5 damage. Puts him at, I believe, 9, and that'll put him at 13, and a TIE Fighter being created. So this board state starting to favor Matt. We're going into the leader flip turn. We see Fireball and Force Throw. This could look like the hand Lucas needs, with the Fireball being able to take out the Lurking Tie, and Force Throw, turning things on. I mean, Millennium Falcon, Fireball, Force Throw, that could be enough to take some things out. I think the only thing better would have been a Confiscate or a Bamboozle, because whatever the Vader leader comes on is going to be big, and doesn't look like Lucas has an immediate answer for that. So we see Fireball come in to ambush the Lurking TIE Phantom. Since the Lurking TIE Phantom can only be defeated by getting attacked by enemy units or a debuff effect like a -2/-2, but that's not something that's going to be run in a red-yellow deck. So Matt goes ahead and pilots that Geonosis Patrol Fighter. It's going to have 6 health. So the question is there something that Lucas can do to kill it? He just Force Throws Matt. Matt discards a Surprise Strike. That'll allow Lucas to do 2 damage. It can't take out the piloted Vader leader. Just doing 2 damage, bringing it to 4. One line here is to damage the patrol fighter, play the Millennium Falcon, buff it with Anakin, and it would take it out. But we don't know what Matt is sitting with. He's got 6 resources open, and I think at least 1 card in hand. It could be a lot of great options. Could be a Waylay, could be an overwhelming barrage. Might even be an eager escort fighter. So even if Millennium Falcon comes down, Matt might have the answer to it. But regardless, Matt can probably get his 8 damage in from the patrol fighter right now. But with 1 card in hand, you might be worried about another Force Throw or a Spark of Rebellion. But he goes ahead and swings in for the 8 damage. I think putting Lucas at 22. So this is a great example of how quickly these Vader yellow decks can start just pumping out insane amounts of damage. We see Lucas going up to 23. So Matt just has a few damage on his base. We see Millennium Falcon come down. And now with all of Matt's units exhausted, we have to see what is his plan here. What is he holding on to? So we do see 5 tap, and it was the overwhelming barrage. Being able to deal 10 damage. So dealing 4 to Millennium Falcon, 5 to Ahsoka Tano, and 1 to Fireball, clearing the board. And with it presenting 8 damage, Lucas can't even deploy Anakin because Matt is threatening lethal. So Lucas claims, and we see the big Millennium Falcon, which should do enough damage to take out the Geonosis Patrol Fighter that has 4 damage left. So when played out of hand, it does get ambushed. So a great draw off there, definitely what he needed. So he's thrown that out there to ambush. That'll be a trade. And now it's a matter of, does Matt have enough gas to get over the finish line? Anakin's going to come out, going to be swinging for a lot. Let's see, Lucas looks to be at around the mid-20s. So Anakin's swinging in for either 8 or 9 here. Lucas claiming. Matt just putting more space units on there to present a threat. Looks like there is another Millennium Falcon drawn, the fast one, the 3-drop that comes in ready. But is that enough for Lucas to save the game? I don't think he has enough time, because that Geonosis Patrol Fighter presenting 3 damage might just be enough to make it that the other ties can finish him off. And Vader not being in range to get finished off by Anakin. putting Lucas in a bit of a bind. But a very cool deck coming out here. Very cool ideas. Trying to use those force triggers. But when you are reliant on a lot of those combos, sometimes if you don't draw into the right hand or you draw cards in not the right sequence, if you draw your events before your units to enable them, it could set you up to be a little bit behind. But we're just seeing the sheer power of these Vader swarm decks. So Anakin coming in with a surprise strike. I think that's coming in for 13 damage, putting Matt up to 27. That might be 25. Again, it's hard to see with the dice here. We see the patrol fighter come in for 3. Lucas still alive. See Millennium Falcon. And 3 for Waylay. So I think the Falcon plus the Han pilot would have been lethal. So Lucas holding on, and looks like he scoops here. So great match played by these players. Matt takes it 2-0 with Vader Yellow. And thanks for watching, and hope to get another video out for you soon.